following thoughts, opinions, stories, and expressions are meant for those who will appreciate them. If you don't, we hope you keep an open soul to encounter another here on 34 Questions. Peace. 3, 2, 1. What's going on, folks? Welcome to 34 Questions. I'm your host, 34. Tonight, we have a very special guest. Mr. Patina Pete is in the building. How you doing, Pete?
What's up, y'all? I'm good, man. I guess it's October in 2021.
Yeah, man.
I'm still stuck in March 2020. So, yeah, just hanging in there, doing good. Good to see you.
Good to see you, man. I want to thank you again for stopping by, making time for this, and being open to share your story. For the folks out there who are unfamiliar with the flow of the show, we do some intro questions, some warm-up questions just to set the tone, and then afterwards we'll jump into the main interview where, Pete, you either choose your numbers or we could turn to the Wheel of Fate, and then after that we'll finish things off with a few closeout questions. Sound good to you?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it.
All right, man. Well, my very first question for you is, how have you been in general, man? Like, it's been maybe 4 or 5 years since we kind of talked, linked up. So you've been doing well. You've been doing great. How you been lately, man?
I think like everyone, it's a mixed bag. But overall, in a very contemplative place. Like I was saying before this started, social media shut down for, I don't know, half the day yesterday, but what a moment where we could all kind of just pause. And COVID's felt like a larger version of that, of course. And it's just been really interesting to see personally over the past year and a half how I've kind of reflected on my place in everything right now, but also like how we're all reflecting and figuring out our own places. Do we ever want to go back to an office and work 9 to 5 every day? No, that seems psychotic now. Do we want to work remote? Do we just all these things that we're thinking about in new ways. So that's kind of been a narrative going through the past year or two, but man, since we've last seen each other, everything's different. I was in my 20s. I'm 30 now. Starting to get sore in the mornings. But yeah, overall doing good. Still in SF. Love it here. I'm in the Presidio now. Like the Golden Gate Bridge is a 5-minute walk from me now, and it's just a true blessing to be surrounded by nature all the time. So really thankful for that.
For sure, man. For sure. I'm definitely happy to hear that you're doing well. And you mentioned, finding or thinking about your place in the world. How are you with that? You feel like you have a solid idea, or you're still?
It all out. No. Turning 30. It's one of those. There's a story by Franz Kafka that it's a really, really short, it's like a paragraph, but it's about this mouse, and he's in one corner of the room, and he, starts taking a few steps, and the room kind of opens out, and he keeps walking and walking, and it gets bigger and bigger, and about halfway through, it starts getting smaller and smaller, and keeps walking, and no matter where it goes, it gets smaller and smaller, and then by the end, he's back in a corner, but has nowhere to go. And then a cat eats him. It's a metaphor for life. But I feel like after turning 30, I feel myself as that mouse a little bit, getting closer to the halfway point and realizing just how, I don't know, like you can't do everything you want in life. There's a lot of things you can do, but like can't do it all, and so you have to really double down on the things you want to do and try and figure that out. And so that's what I've been trying to do, and I don't have all the answers, but I feel comfortable with the attempts and trying to just see what resonates.
I gotcha. Yeah. I
Does that
think
make
that
sense?
it makes total sense, man. I turned 30 as well since the last time I seen you. 31
Congrats.
now. Thank
Oh
you,
yeah.
thank you. But that story you were talking about, the mouse getting to
Yeah.
the halfway point. For you, do you feel like it's better to see it as the room getting bigger and bigger, or do you like the fact that it feels like it's getting smaller and smaller?
Well, I mean, when things get bigger and bigger, it feels like I don't know. There's definitely a overwhelming sensation where there's almost too much choice, um, where you could be anything and you don't want to make the wrong decision. And I think that's definitely what college was. That's what the teenage years were like. There were just so many attempts to try and figure out what the hell was going on all the levels. But yeah, now that I'm in my 30s, it's sort of like a hacking away of the things that I know I don't want, whether that's in friendships, with myself, with the things I want to commit my time to. It's becoming a little bit clearer and defined. Whereas before it was just blurry and there were too many things. So um, now it feels a little more, I don't know, like easier to grasp and also like appreciate, because like these things do create joy, they create satisfaction, and you can develop that more to get to a point where I don't know, you feel like even more fulfilled. Yeah.
I got you. I definitely had a similar experience, and I was kind of thinking about whether or not it was because I turned 30 or it was because of Corona, in quarantine. So I've been talking to some of my friends who are a couple of years older, and it seems like it is a thing that happens when you turn 30. We need to have a support group for 30 somethings and the if it's a similar experience for everybody. But yeah, I mean, this thing that you see before you now is a product of that feeling of trying to really hone in what I really want to spend my time doing, which is getting to know folks and having deep conversations. And this is what came out of it. But no, I hear you, man. It was a transformative time for a lot of us, and I think for some people they're still going through that transformation.
Absolutely.
Let's jump into some warm-up questions. That was just the very
let's do it.
Intro. So this first one is, what would you like the audience to know about you?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Let's see. Originally from Michigan. I feel like this is sort of like the two truths and the lie question. But, no, originally from Michigan. I have a twin sister, and moved out here when it was 2015. The Giants were supposed to win a World Series the following year, or so I was told. And work for the Y. That's where I met Jen, and yeah, still working for the Y actually, just different branch. And really enjoying my time out here. Have no intention to move. It's hard to want to go from, I don't know, a temperature band of 50 to 70 to like -10 to 100 back in Michigan or something. So I really like it here.
Yeah, we're pretty spoiled.
Synopsis. Yeah.
Pretty spoiled with the weather, and that's cool, man. I'm glad you. I didn't know you were still with the Y, and I'm trying to find my way back somehow, some way, because I mean, for me, youth work was very rewarding. Outside of all, it doesn't. That's something I thought about through quarantine, was like, man, why did I leave, and why do I want to come back? And it's all about being of service to folks. So yeah, it's interesting. I just applied to Burton for that for the site coordinator position that I had passed up way long ago in another lifetime, and we'll see what happens, man. I'm still waiting to See what if it falls through or if it doesn't. But yeah,
Fingers crossed for you. Good luck.
Thanks, man. Thanks. We'll see what happens. It's funny, man, because like I had I'll be real with you. Had the interview yesterday, and it was one of those times where, like, when you interview for things, it's like, it's good if you feel good about it. So I felt good about it. I felt like I gave it my best shot, but I did feel like, I think there was a lot of things they were looking for that maybe I wasn't providing. And in my head, it's almost like maybe, if I'm not chosen, which is totally fine, that they were looking for someone else to fit into that role. And I can't control that. But yeah, it was a very interesting feeling. And I mean, I'm still feeling it because I don't know if it's a yes or no, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Fingers crossed for you, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. My second question for you in the warm-up is, if I were to do something in your honor, a way to express the energy you possess, what could I do? If I was going to tell myself today I'm going to do something in the honor of Pete, what could I do for you, man?
Oh, that's a really good question. And did you make all these questions by yourself?
As much as possible, I did. And no idea is original, but
right.
I like to think it was original.
Yeah. No, I like that one. It's funny because like what I'm gonna suggest is just a projection of what I want to be doing, but I would still like if somebody else did that. It would be maybe like write a letter to 3 people that are really important to you that maybe you haven't talked to in a while. Let them know what's up with you, how you're feeling, how they impacted you, how they're important to you, and how they're still influencing the person you are. And just send it to them unannounced and do that. Because I don't know, like I can keep going, but if this is a warm-up question, I don't want to take up too much time.
No, don't worry about time, man. It's all good.
Okay, yeah. No, because I feel like COVID, it's really changed so many social norms that we have. I was talking with someone like she was watching Mad Men and didn't freak out when people didn't have masks on, because you think, okay, that's the 1950s, they didn't know about Corona. But you watch a movie from 2019 and everybody is together in a group and you freak out because you think, oh my god, this is a super spreader event. And so many things have happened to us socially that have gotten deep into us, and it would be so hard to just snap our fingers and try and act like we were in a normal situation if 10 fully vaccinated, booster shotted people went into a room without masks. I'd still freak out. It's just been so interwoven into our daily lives now. So like, I think I suggested that because just it's a way to connect without having to feel like you're doing something wrong, even though like it's probably safe if you're doing the right thing.
I got you. And now we know.
Yeah.
Now we know. I think this question was inspired by feeling like, we never get a chance to ask this question until it's too late. And like, we wish we had known what to do just to keep that spirit alive. But yeah, no, I got you. Actually, something I tried out maybe a couple weeks ago was I just sent a text to people maybe I haven't talked to in forever. And I'm just like, yo, just checking in. Hope you're doing well. And that was it.
Yeah.
It was a very short message. And, it was interesting to see which people texted back, which people didn't. But either way, it felt good, if anything, just to think that I tried to reconnect and, spread some good vibes. So yeah.
Awesome.
And then my last question for you in the warm-up is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how well do you know yourself?
Ooh. It's whatever the number is, it's getting higher. Like there's a tip that I got from someone. It was like, when you have to choose a number between 1 and 10, you're not allowed to use 7. And so you have to be like, either it was a lower number or a pretty high number. So, probably say an 8.
All right, for sure. Why an 8, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I mean, yeah, I've been on a journey to make that number a little higher. Like going to therapy since COVID started has really helped. Journaling more, meditating more, just kind of paying a little bit more attention to everything that goes on and pulling on strings when appropriate. And just trying to figure out where it comes from. And it's been an interesting journey, to say the least. But everything is really deeply rooted, almost in an unconscious way, unless you put in the time to really listen or probe.
I hear you. And a quick follow-up is, what would you say is your favorite thing about your personality?
I think it's probably my curiosity. I think I can ask. I just ask a lot of questions, and it helps me get to know people. And because I'm pretty introverted, it takes the pressure off me to speak about myself. So this is sort of the inverse of what I like, but you're a homie, so all for it. And so just kind of getting to know a person as well as I can through questions and being curious about other things, like reading a lot and trying to learn about random stuff. But I like my curiosity a lot. It's got me everywhere.
Sounds like you could do your own podcast. That's where it kind of got me to it.
Well, funny you say that, dude. With the Y, I just started I don't know what it's going to be called. I think it might be called 7x7, but we're trying to do our own Humans of New York thing with urban services.
Man.
Yeah. So I had my first two interviews last week, and they went really well. And it was just crazy. Like, I just get to ask questions and pull the strings on people's lives and see what comes out. So that was really interesting. So that's partly why I was excited to do this, to see how you craft a scenario with questions to bring out whatever comes out. So I'm taking notes too.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait to see the product of that. And what comes up. And honestly, it's a great experience, man. Like, I think one of the things that people have told me, at least other fellow podcasters and interviewers, are like also trying to kind of be aware of the impact it's making on you by talking to so many people. And I'm like, oh yeah, so it's been fun, been great, and I can't help but keep it rolling. We made it, bro, to the main portion of the interview, where would you like to choose your own numbers or turn to the wheel of fate?
How many numbers do I choose?
So here's the thing. The conversation kind of flows whichever way. So on average, my guests get through about maybe 4 to 5 questions from the wheel. And then, so it really depends, because there's always going to be follow-up questions. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Yeah. Then I think my favorite number is 25. So we'll start there.
All right, 25. And just a heads up, there's an easy, medium, and hard to each number. Where would you like to start?
Let's try hard. Let's see where we're at. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Well, this one, man.
Why'd you say that?
Well, I was on someone else's podcast, and they asked me what the most invasive question I had, because some of them can be invasive.
Is it this one?
No, it's not. I think you'll dig this one, and I'm kind of curious to see how you define it. But
it's like, drop your pants and cough. What kind of invasive are we talking about?
Not this one's not that question, so don't worry. Right. But it's simple. What is your mission? What would you say your mission is?
Ooh. Oh, what's the easy version of this? Yikes. No, what's my mission? I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out. to be honest, so I don't have a mission statement yet.
Yeah.
But I think part of it, my handle is Patina Pete. As a hobby, I do leather crafting. So wallets, bags, keychains, belts, that sort of thing. But the thing that I'm getting out of it is just making something that'll last. And it just happens to be a physical good in this case, but it's something that is made by care by one person with skills they developed all on their own with the help of YouTube. But it's something that I take a lot of pride in, and the things I'm making are uniquely mine, and it's sort of can't be taken away from me in that respect. So it's a mission I feel like has to be done only by the person who can do it. Like, it can't be for anyone else. So like in that sense of mission, like I think leathercraft is part of it. And I think like finding a way to harness this questioning compulsivity is another aspect to it. So we'll see what happens with this YMCA series, but I think those two things are part of my mission. And I've like interviewed leather crafters. That was another like way to honor both of those things. Creating questions to really get at the heart of, same sorts of things you're trying to get at. But so those two things, and I don't know, finding a way to like, I don't know, more and more like I'm becoming preoccupied with global warming and figuring out a way to, like, in a very, as much as I can, try and make an impact in that way. So like I know it won't be with the Y forever, so whatever the jumping off point will be, like the bridge will be as an effort to like help with global warming. So yeah, I'll just say those three for now, but I can't think of anything else.
I got you. I really like the, part of trying to build something that lasts. And do you think, so prior to having that awareness of yourself, was there a previous mission that you felt like you were undertaking and then you kind of had to either through experience change it up a little?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's sort of like the what do you want to be when you grow up type questions. And then like those are the first flirtings with sense of mission or purpose. Like I wanted to be an illustrator growing up. There was a show, I want to call it Pat's Happy Place, but I don't think that's what it was called because that sounds wrong. But it was this guy who lived in like a animated world, and he would go around and draw things. And I would watch that obsessively. He was like a Bob Ross on shrooms or something. But yeah, growing up, I watched that a lot and thought, yeah, I'm going to be an illustrator, a drawer. And then I bowled a lot, like bowling, strike, that sort of thing.
That's what's up, man.
I bowled from 5 to 20 and bowled collegiately for the second best team in the country at the time. And thought I was going to go pro, but when I got to college, I bowled against people that eventually would go pro, got my ass royally handed to me, and realized like I could put in the time and effort to be decent, but at what, there's a big opportunity cost there, so I wasn't willing to do that and stopped bowling, and I haven't bowled since, really. So that was the second, what am I going to do? And then the third has kind of been, I don't know, like trying to figure out what I'm going to do in a way that can sustain me kind of economically, because we're all in a capitalist system. A quote that someone close to me says all the time is, we're all compromised under capitalism.
Damn.
There's so many things we wish we could do but can't because it's not in the market's interest, or it doesn't have like a economic utility to it. So yeah, it's more of like aligning, okay, what do I want to do in a way that overlaps with what the market can feed me for, or like reward me with. So that's kind of been the hardest part, and like not trying to get rich. Like I've worked for the Y for 5 years, obviously. So not to hate on the Y, but you know, you don't come to Silicon Valley to work for a nonprofit. You know, I came here because I just didn't want to be in Michigan, but still didn't want, and just wanted to do work that still felt nourishing and on a human level. And so, yeah.
Honestly, like crazy that I didn't know you wanted to be an illustrator. Do you still draw for fun, or like, you know, illustrate randomly?
I haven't, but whenever I do, I remind myself that I should do it more, but it doesn't stick and I don't do it.
Yeah, I hear you. Bowling, it's interesting. We never had a company function at a bowling place, and if
I'm thankful for that, actually.
Well, why thankful? Why thankful?
It's this thing where, like, I tell people that I bowled a lot, and then we go to a bowling alley, and they're like, "Bowl, monkey, bowl."
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The thing is, if I don't have, you know, like, you wouldn't knock a football player for not performing if their shoes were different, or like the wrong size, and they didn't have padding on. Like they would suck. Like if I don't have my bowling balls that are fit to my hand, and like the special shoes that I have, not just the shoes you rent, like I'm gonna suck, or be a lot worse than I could be. And all that stuff is in Michigan. So when I'm out here and people are like, "Oh," I'm like, well, okay, but don't get your expectations too high.
I got you. Well, now I know. This whole time I thought I was a bad bowler, but because I didn't have my own shoes and the balls weren't fitted to my hand. But
yeah, it helps.
Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't know. You know, bowling became something I tried doing for like a little bit. I was like, cool. Yeah. This seems like something I could do once a week, and like, you know, kind of.
Don't tell me it was at Classic Bowl.
Classic Bowl. I don't think so. Wait. Which one's
South City?
The one by Skyline-ish area, like by closer to the. Yeah, it was that was the one. Yeah. What? Why don't tell you Classic Bowl?
No, that's funny. No, because I used to live by that for 2 years, and it's sort of like where all the old like Filipino guys go to like just hang out with one another and get away from their family and just drink and smoke.
Yeah. No, it's definitely that one. It lasted maybe 3-4 weeks, and then I was like, man, my arm's getting tired. Or like it's starting to hurt, so I kind of slowed down. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty dope, man, that you got that in your back pocket. Yeah. If you ever do want to like make some waves or impress somebody, he'd be like, oh, let's go
yeah,
bowling.
First date, like, I'm not that good, but strike.
Yeah. You ever bowl 300? Probably.
Yeah. 3.
Sick, man. Much props to you. I'm trying to catch up in some ways, but I had another thing, but it escaped my mind, which is cool. It's fine. Let's go ahead and choose another number or turn to the wheel. How you feel?
Let's do. I feel like 7 would be a trick question, but I'll go with 7 because you think a lot of people would pick that. So 7 medium.
7 medium. All right. So if your life stages were broken into books, what would you call them?
Like the series name, or like each book?
Each book. So you could give me a range too. So you could be like 1 to 16, 1 to 18. It's all up to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Chapters of my life. I think 1 to 8. The struggle. I was born super premature, 10 weeks. and I weighed just over 2 pounds. Had to be in the NICU for 10 weeks, and parents finally got to take me and my twin sister home. Uh, but it was not easy. There was a lot of doubt if we'd make it. And grew up with speech problems and kind of motor function problems. I didn't walk. I walked on my toes badly, and they pointed inwards. And I had like Dumbo ears. So like elementary school was rough.
I gotcha. Damn, man.
Yeah, so a lot of therapy there, like physical therapy, and speech therapy, but got through that. And yeah, so 1 through 8 was struggle, and then 8 through, let's say, 18, pretty smooth sailing. We'll just call it smooth sailing.
Nice.
I was lucky enough to, like, I'm from Michigan originally, and I don't know if school of choice is a thing out here, where you can like pick what. For us, it was what county you want to go to for school. And I was lucky enough to get out of county that I grew up in into another one that had pretty good public schools, and because of that, met a lot of great people, had a lot of great teachers who really believed in their students, and were dedicated to seeing them grow and succeed. So I was extremely thankful for that. And making friends came easily enough. Like, there's only so much weight you can get by being a good bowler, but I still like it still seems like a sick joke, but I was athlete of the year of my senior year in high school for bowling. Like, I had a really good year, and it still beat out every football, basketball, baseball, hockey player that we had. And so I got a lot of like side eye, I guess you could say, from like the guy athletes. But like, I don't know, it got around, and people gave me a little bit of kudos for that. So that was cool. But yeah, high school was, some people bemoan it and think it was really hard, but thankfully for me, it wasn't that. It was a time where I had my core group of friends, and we just hung out all the time. We played Smash Bros almost every day after school. We'd watch movies, rent them from Blockbuster. I bet there are people watching you. What's that?
And then everybody else saying, I remember.
Yeah. N64 for days. GoldenEye. No. Yeah, and then let's see. 19 to, let's say, 23 was exploring. In college, just you get to live on your own, which was great. I went to that small bowling school for 2 years, realized I didn't want to be a bowler, and then transferred to the University of Michigan and really loved my time there. It's a giant school, and the diversity there is unlike anything I had experienced at that point. Lived in a house with 16 other people. It was like a multi-million-dollar house, which in Michigan is rare, but in California, it's an empty lot. But it didn't feel like this crazy house because it was a college house. It's messy and disgusting. But living with 16 other people who are in all different, like, we had people in med school, we had people that pursued the arts, they were performing art majors, we had people who were into literature, people into mathematics, political science, just a big variety. So conversations were very varied and stimulating. And yeah, so when I graduated, I realized I wanted to travel a lot, and I ended up joining the Peace Corps. And so I did that when I was 24, so we'll say 24 to 25 was the world.
The world. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I got I got, I don't want to say stationed, but placed in Jordan in the Middle East. And I was there for throughout training, and I got placed in my city, and really enmeshed in there. Loved my host family, had my own apartment, which was great, and was beginning to pick up Arabic and speaking it pretty well for only knowing it a couple months. And unfortunately, we got evacuated because of security risks and threats against a couple people in our cohort's lives. So they had to just pull us out, which sucked. Because you spend all this time preparing to go, getting there, learning as best you can the culture, learning what not to do, and trying your best to just be an asset, an ally, and non-problematic. And then we got evacuated. But I got relocated to Moldova, which is between Romania and Ukraine. And I was there for a little bit, but I was with all new people. The country staff was totally different. There were only 2 or 3 people from my Jordanian cohort that transferred with me to Moldova. So it was really hard for me, and ended up leaving early because I just wasn't in the right mental space for it. I never planned being there. There were lots of things about Jordan that were appealing to me. I really wanted to learn Arabic and bring it back to Michigan because there's an incredible amount of Arabic speaking people in the population close to where I lived. So that was one of the main reasons I wanted to go. But yeah, so I left there, and then in 2015, eventually in October, moved to San Francisco. Then let's say 2015 to 2021, like let's say August was San Francisco / relationship. I was with somebody for 5.5 years, and it's recently ended. But like that was a big period of growth. I hadn't really had a romantic relationship for longer than, I don't know, 9 months at that point. So like most of it was uncharted territory. Learned a lot about myself, for better and worse. And also like got to just see what life is like when it's shared deeply with somebody else, and it was awesome. And like we traveled the world together. In 2018, we started in New Zealand and worked our way up to Japan over 10 months, which was sort of like a mini retirement.
Mhm.
And yeah, we learned a lot from each other, and we're on good terms. We were texting earlier today, but yeah, like we survived most of the pandemic together, but it was just clear like the things we wanted weren't compatible, and so let's land the plane smoothly and then go our separate ways. So that was that chapter or book. And then from September onward, it's sort of like, I don't have a title for that one yet, because I'm still trying to figure it out, but like I said, like, was in a relationship for 5 years. It's been a long time since I only had to worry about me. Like go to sleep when I want, eat whatever I want. Just stupid, like selfish stuff, but it has a decent impact on my well-being and like steadiness throughout a day. And I'm also able to like be a little more tuned to myself and my needs, and able to just probe them and figure out a little bit better what they are, or what I want to do, and how to like work my way towards that. So yeah, I think that's my life in book form so far.
Bro, I just want to thank you for sharing all that. I think there was a lot of things that came up that sometimes I'm not sure what people are comfortable with sharing, but definitely appreciate you for being open to all that. You know, being premature, I think, well, I'm trying to go from the beginning to forward.
From the womb. From the womb to the tomb. Yeah.
Oh, I never heard that one. I like that. From the womb to the tomb.
But I like it.
Hey, there you go. Now we are calling it right now. Yeah, that you came up with that one, and I have a feeling it's gonna pop up.
6:43, October 5th, 2021.
From the womb to the tomb. Yeah, being premature, man. Crazy 2 pounds, man, with a twin.
Yeah.
Man, like, and I can't imagine what your folks were going through at the time. You know, just holding out hope. But you pushed through, you persevered, and then, you know, made it to smooth sailing, right, as you would say. Interesting thing about high school experiences, and I never had gotten really a chance to talk about it with more people, but, you know, similar vein, I felt like I had a pretty good experience as well. You know, I was a kid who was trying to be good and do all those things, so navigating through high school was pretty chill. And like just talking to, I don't know, it sounded like you had some good teachers and good adults around you. And I think, you know, for the most part, like, you can feel when someone's trying, and that's where I was in a building where a lot of adults were really doing their best to help out the future, right? And then down like college, and I remember you mentioned the Peace Corps, but I never really got all those details that you kind of shared. What an experience, bro. Yeah. I think, you know, you know how people say, like, is your life interesting enough for someone to want to read? I think you got one, bro. I think if you were able to somehow encapsulate everything that you went through into a story, I think it's a worthy read. But yeah,
off to a good start. Yeah.
I do want to ask you, because I'm curious, as a curious person, and you know, you're interviewing folks, or like in your daily lives, what's a question that pops up for you that you naturally just like want to ask folks, you know, when you're getting to know them?
I don't know, like it's so context dependent, you know. Questions really only come up when people give me something to work with. Like I don't have, you know, a list of pre-made questions. But yeah, and I don't know, like I went to school for creative writing at Michigan, and like you'll learn there are usually two types of writers: people who like planning everything out beforehand, and people who figure it out on the way and then edit back to something sensible. And I wonder if it's the same with question making, where there are people who have a list of questions that, you know, they filter through and pull from when appropriate, and then there are people who kind of shoot from the hip and do it based off of the situation. But yeah, I fall into that second half. But it, like, more than anything, and this is more recent than anything, but I think a lot about incentives, like why things are the way they are. And a lot of it can be explained with incentives.
What do you mean? How so?
Yeah, like, and usually it's in context of like, I don't know, a business or something, but, you know, say a bank and this is like kind of what's happening right now in this part of the world, but like in the crypto space.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. This isn't gonna go too deep, but like in the crypto space, like say a bank tells all the people who are members of that bank, we'll finally allow you to invest in crypto through our platform. And they make all these press releases, and it seems really bullish or positive for whatever they're allowing their people to invest in. Only do you find out later that the bank has a huge stake that they've been accumulating for months before they make this announcement. So the thing that they've already accumulated can now appreciate and they make money. And whatever happens afterwards is kind of, I don't know, unimportant, at least for them as money-making people. Like incentives in that way, like why are they telling people, okay, now you can do it? Oh, it's because we've, covered our ass and have a big stake already, and now it can go up. We're allowing it. But also with kids, like, we both worked in youth fields. Like, we would see kids act out wildly, and we would think, or I would think, like, why? And sometimes kids come from households that are dysfunctional, period. And they don't have those people that are trying to make them the best person they are. It's heartbreaking. And so, like, why would they think acting out is okay? Maybe it's because that's the only way they could get attention in the house, because everything else was already crazy. They had to just act very crazy to get attention. Like things like that, where I don't know, just trying to view it through that lens. If anything, like on a human level, it's as a way to like build empathy, and then like outside of the human sphere, it's a way to like try and figure out. It's usually like how some corporation is trying to take advantage of people, because that seems to be what happens most commonly.
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm trying to figure out a way to fight against it, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's a losing battle almost every day, and I try not to think about it and try to like just really focus on what small things can I be doing to kind of push things in the right direction. But yeah, it's like I honestly don't know. One of my questions is like, what generation or decade would you live in, and also what location? So when I think about that for myself, I'm trying to think of a time like, do I have to go, I don't know, maybe like the 1200s of America before anybody came out here?
That, man.
Well, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, if I want to feel the community that I'm searching for, and trying to, and yeah, like keeping it in,
Yeah, what's the thing you're trying to get most of?
Yeah. And so that was just a thought, like, where would I want to be to kind of be away from, like, I guess the capitalist mindset. And I'm not trying to say, like, I honestly, I don't know if you know too much about socialism and why it has such a bad connotation, and because like for a person who hasn't done my research and doesn't know, like I yearn for independence, but I also yearn for a way to help everyone around me, and there has to be some kind of like middle ground, or like something that allows me to do that. So I don't know, man. It's more than what we could talk about in the next 10 minutes before this podcast is over. But yeah. We'll capture that another time. But yeah, man, just to let you know, we kind of made it to the final stretch at this point.
Wow.
I want to thank you again for stopping by. I hope it's been fun for you. I think it's been a great conversation on my end. So Thank you again. Would you like to hit one more number, or I think we got time for one more if you have one in mind.
I'll do 3 or 13, and you can pick whichever one's the best fit.
All right. 3 or 13. So I'm gonna go with 13, and it's
Okay.
gonna be medium. It is. What are you jealous of? Anything?
What am I jealous?
I'm jealous of magicians, bro. Like I wish I knew some magic tricks, man. Like, but yeah. For you, what would you say?
First rule of magicians is you can't tell the secret. What am I jealous of? Yeah, that's a good question. Usually when I think of like, if I do feel jealousy towards people, it's half the time it's because they're doing something that I didn't make myself do, and so I'm jealous that they pushed themselves to do it. That's half the time usually. But sometimes the other half is just like, you didn't have to do anything to get this thing that you're doing. You know, it's like a trust fund situation, or like born into a certain family, or I don't know, your parents own a house in California, so like, you know, it's gonna get passed down to you.
Yeah, man. I know some folks.
Like I'm never gonna buy a house here. So it usually is like one of those two types. And I'm just trying to get better at like distinguishing which is which. And if it is the first one where it's like, I'm jealous that you did this and I didn't do it myself, like it falls under the realm of possibility for me. And it's like, okay, let's dial that back a minute, and you really want to do that work to get to wherever they are. And most of the time it's no. Like, I didn't want to become a pro bowler as much as I thought it would be awesome to be. But, you know, like career-wise, maybe I should learn coding because I think I could do it. And like, I'm jealous that these people are getting, you know, $250,000 paychecks every year. And so that's on me. Let's join the code camp. You know?
Yeah, man. If it's something that crosses my mind all the time. And
right.
Computer science.
Yeah.
But all right, man. Well, we'll end the numbers at that point. And you made me think about it. I like how you broke it down as far as the two sides of jealousy. Of like for me, magicians, because you know they put in the work and I didn't, and I don't think I ever could. And then for someone who I feel like, you know, has trust funds or whatever, when I was young. And I wanted to be a rapper, the biggest person I hated on was Lil Romeo, because his dad was Master P, and he had like the track to be a young rapper. So my bad, Lil Romeo, if you watch this. But
what was your rap name?
Oh, so many, man. All right, I'll tell you the ones that I went through. But the very first one was just Youngsta. You know, young, like
I like that.
Young STA. And then I went with my initials, JMR, for a little bit. And then I really, really dug Lone Prophet because I was coming from a Catholic school, and, you know, I was really like in tune with my religion at that time. And like the Lone Ranger, Lone Prophet, I was an only child. So I really felt like, okay, this is what it's going to be. And then as I got older, when I got to college, I really liked Zilla, Zilla. And it was almost the reverse of Lone Prophet, because I was like, it's what you get without God is Zilla. So that's how I kind of introduced myself to folks. And then after that, and like my most recent ones, I went by Goods, Goods, which stood for Good Samaritan, when I was really into about like serving people and like, you know, I just want to bring good vibe. It's Goods. Yeah. And then after that, my final one, tried to do the J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar thing. Just went by my name, Jan, Jann. That was gonna be my rapping name.
Not like J Dot?
Nah, not J Dot, not J Dot. I felt like there was a guy named J Period, which I didn't want to like kind of copy off of. But yeah. So yeah, the latest one I was ever known by was just my name Jan, and yeah, I mean that kind of took a backseat when I started pursuing Hella Hungry, where you met me at, and then Hella Hungry was an experience. And I also, one of those things I realized was that I'm not of the capitalist mindset, and that doesn't work when you're trying to create a business. So I had to like switch lanes again. But the thing I learned about Hella Hungry was, I don't know if you remember, I was trying to do interviews with the whole thing. Like I'd have people wear the brand and then I would interview them about what they're motivated for. That I can't let go. And that's what made me think what really mattered to me was those interviews. It wasn't about making money with clothes. So, and here we are. And 34 questions. And if I was going to be a rapper, or if I was going to come out now, I'd probably go by 34. Just that number kind of resonates with me. Yeah. But,
growing up, I had asthma, so I lived a mile away from 8 Mile, and as a white dude, like, you have to have some sort of rap name because Eminem was and still is, like, one of the goats. And mine was P Weezy the Asthmatic.
P Weezy the Asthmatic. I got you. Did you ever write any bars? Did you ever?
No. No. I just had like, I don't know, a tagline. It was like, you don't know this kind of tough ass.
Oh, okay.
Stupid stuff, man.
Hey, man.
You definitely would have a brighter future than me.
We all started from somewhere. I like that, though. I like that. P Weezy.
Making me spit on my drink, man.
My bad. Well, all right, man. We made it to the final stretch. Before we get to the closeout questions, I do this exercise with my guests called the 34th mantra. So it's just a fill in the blank, real quick, real short. But the phrase is, I am, I can, I will. I am blank, I can blank, I will blank. How would you fill that in for you?
I am questioning. I will attempt. And then what's the final one?
I will, or I can. All right.
Oh, sorry. I think I jumped it.
No, you're good. You're good.
I will persevere.
For sure. Now, if you ever need a reminder, or you come out with your book and you need that push for yourself, you have this little soundbite to help push you along. Here we go, final stretch. And this next question is actually a question from my previous guest. Let me just flip through it. Whew. Oh yeah, this one's from Scarlett. Shout out to Scarlett for your question. Her question for you is, how dark is your darkest? Like how dark can you get sometimes? Yeah, I know. I was like, what a Scarlett, crazy question.
Man. At the end?
Yeah, at the end.
Yikes. That's a really good question because it's so subjective. Like my dark can feel horribly dark, but then I hear stories of people who like can't get out of bed for weeks, and I've never been there. Thankfully, not thankfully. So I mean, my dark is dark. Like it's recursive. It's mostly self-involved. It's just playing back things that have gone wrong, and blaming myself for it. And then it becomes like finding ways out of that. And like one way is to like, I don't know, I love running, so like going on a run until I forget everything. I'm just in that run, and then I come out of it and I'm not in that place anymore with the endorphins coursing. Or it's like reaching out to other people. It's writing a letter to somebody, or like just talking to a friend and connecting that way. So yeah, my dark, it's dark, and it, like I try and have it allow me to connect with other people. Like when shitty things happen, you're like, oh, this is how somebody's lives get really derailed. This is how people get blindsided, and it wasn't their fault. Trying to make it a opening towards empathy as best I can, and just being way more humble, because it's so easy, like in your early 20s or like teenage years, before anything happens, we're like, I got everything, I figured it all out, and then like life puts you in the tumble dry mode, and you're like, oh, fuck. And then you come out, you're like, what's happening? But then you can like refocus and just come out a little more empathetic, and hopefully a little less just softer on the edges, I guess. Yeah. Who thought of this?
This one. This was Scarlett.
Oh, Scarlett. Sorry.
Yeah.
One letter off.
Yeah. No, you good.
Scarlett,
yeah. Great question, Scarlett. I might have to. I might add this to the collection here.
Yeah. That's a good one.
And my next question for you, man. Oh, first off, thanks for sharing that. I know that one was a hard one. But what question would you like to ask the next guest that comes on to 34 Questions?
Oh, I see. This is sort of like the Starbucks pay for the person behind you in line.
Yeah. Well, for me,
like that.
I like to connect folks, right? Like, so even though you guys might never meet, Scarlett asked you this question, and now you're going to ask the next person this question. So in somehow, some way, some form, you guys have been connected,
Okay, I have a question. If you knew that failure wouldn't destroy your life, what would you pursue?
I gotcha. If you knew failure wouldn't destroy your life.
If you knew failure in this attempt, I don't know. Like, if you knew failure, if you knew you see what I'm trying to get at? Like, if you knew you couldn't destroy your life attempting this thing, what would you attempt?
I got you.
And it can't be like seeing how much you can drink. It has to be like a pursuit, like that you've been wanting to do but haven't done yet.
I got you. Definitely.
That's my question.
I'm curious who ends up with this question. I can never tell because people reschedule, people switch things around, and
Right.
I always give it up to the universe, man. Like how things kind of fall into place, fall into line. So yeah, I'll let you know who ends up answering this one for you.
For sure.
And then my last question for you, man, the question that ties everything together. It's about 100, 200 years from now or so. You have your great grandchildren watching this. What would you tell them?
I'd want them to tell me everything. I'd want to know what's going on. Are we on Mars? Tell them, like, just because everything's different from how it is now, it doesn't like stop you from the need to be kind to one another. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of something like pithy, but no, I mean, like, as crazy as the world seems, you can always still be kind to one another. And yeah, I think that'll be as important 200 years from now as it is today. It's much needed today, so I can only imagine 200 years from now. Yeah.
I got you, man. Any last things you'd like to add before we head out of here?
No, man, there's so many questions I want to ask you, but I can't flip the script, so we'll just have to meet up sometime.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna ask if you had any questions for me because I'm always asking the questions on the show, but no, we can definitely save it for another time. I'm thinking about having a series where I have guests who actually, because you're not the first person to be like, man, I wish I asked you some questions. Where I have my guests come back and we do like a 34 answers kind of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll see. I'll definitely keep you in the loop about that. But
For sure.
once again, just want to thank you. Super grateful, gracious. You came on by to help me build this thing, man. You know, it's it's person by person. My whole goal is like I want to get that Guinness World Record of, you know, most people interviewed. And the thing is, I looked it up and no one's claimed it, even though I know there's folks who have done way more than I have. But there's no claim.
We could hold it for like, I don't know, a couple minutes and still have that framed, you know?
Dude, it's a dream, and this is my, you know, people ask me what my mission is. This is it, really. So
I love it, man.
Thank you.
Does it feel right? I guess this will be my question. Like, you know, when you hit on something, you're like, oh, this is a deep vein. Like, I can keep going here. Like, does it feel, I don't know, like you've done Hella Hungry. I'm sure, like, we all have a lot of false starts, but does this feel like, how does it feel? I don't want to qualify it.
It feels more right than anything else I've ever attempted in my life, you know?
Yeah.
All the false starts or failures or like mistakes that I've made makes me feel like it has been built up to this point, and I just want to keep it going, you know? Like, and, you know, as far as trying to monetize this and, you know, make it something bigger than like just a hobby, I wouldn't mind if this was like, you know, a big reason why I want to get back working with youth is because, you know, I want to serve the youth as my day job, and then have this podcast where I can serve adults in a certain way. It completes my life and all that stuff, and yeah, it's been a great feeling. And, you know, there's days when I do get tired or like maybe a little burnt out, and you know, I need to slow it down, but I miss it. You know, it's an itch that I need to scratch. And then when I get into like the mode of having folks on and having these conversations, it's like, I need to do this again tomorrow, or I need to do this. Like, and when I first started, I was trying to do like 10 interviews a week, and
yeah. You're eager. You don't know how it all works yet. You don't know how to pace.
Yeah. No, my most was 4 in one day, and I remember by the 4th one, I was pretty much like, I felt bad because I wasn't at my best.
Yeah, you can't
that last person. Yep. Yeah. But now, I've kind of trying to find a rhythm. I wish I could do 10 a week, because then that would definitely like get me closer to that number. But I'm fine taking it slow. And I think for me, what's been great is that I've been able to do it with folks who have been a part of my life, you know, small or big. Yeah. You know, I want to really show folks that, like, hey, like, from my perspective, it's really been like, you know, you've had an impact, you know, you're a part of my story. And yeah, so it's been awesome, man. And hopefully, right, like,
final question.
Yeah, go for it.
You had, like, in that vein, like, have you had grandparents on, or like people higher up? Like, because what a thing to treasure eventually, you know, having that sort of connection.
So a big reason why the big reason why this began too is that I never knew my grandparents. I never had a chance to kind of like talk to them and get to know them as people. So I'm all like, damn, I really missed the chance. So I wanted to create that platform. And I've had my folks on here. I've had some older aunties and uncles and stuff. Yeah, they're number 2 and number 3 as far as the episode count. But I want to continue doing it for them too, because I think that would be valuable for my kids and their kids, you know. So yeah, I mean, if I was gonna monetize it somehow, like, I would hope I could like offer it as a service to seniors, you know, and because I feel like there are some seniors who may not have a chance to record, you know, how they talk and what their experience is. And it's, like, I don't know, someone told me I should make it a nonprofit, you know, make it donation based, you know, like I go around to senior homes and be like, hey, I'm a guy trying to record your story. Would you be interested, and see how that works out? But right now, during COVID, during quarantine, it's not like a feasible thing. So I haven't really tried to do it. But when things kind of get, back to normal in some way and I can enter those spaces, yeah, that's definitely something that I've kind of like wanted to gear that focus into. But I mean, honestly, young, old, it's that story, that perspective of where you are in your life at that point. So yeah, like the young people that I've had on, I would hope every five years or so I could interview them again just to see how that growth has happened and how things are changing for them.
But back their answers scare the shit out of them. You're like, oh my god, I said that.
Which like think about the people who are going to be watching this for you. It's like it's really right now your friends and family to if they're interested in hearing you be interviewed. So if you know any folks that might find this valuable, feel free to let them know to stop by, and I would love to have them on. I think that's the biggest, like the most solidifying way I can create a community or connection is if I have folks like yourself, guests, reach out to the people they know and be like, yo, this is what is happening. This is how you can be a part of it. So no pressure, but I would off camera, I would have asked you the same thing.
I appreciate that.
I'm down to answer all questions because this is also a way for me to put my walls down, and kind of like be able to open myself up too. So yeah, I'm all for it, man. You hear that?
Here's an idea.
Oh, yeah.
How many? What number are you at? Where do I fall in?
As far as episode?
Yeah.
I want to say like you're probably like 130 something right now.
Oh wow! All right, then like randomly pick 34. Have them each submit a question, and then you like do the same process on yourself and answer those.
Ooh, I got you. Cool. I got it. But see, that's the thing. I would want that person to be on here to ask me that question.
Have them record it.
I got you, man. I got you. Well,
it's sort of like an AMA, but very personalized.
Yeah. I will do that. I like that. I'm really bad at promoting and involving myself in like social media. So yeah, if I'm super quiet on social media, it's not because I'm not doing anything. It's just I hate doing it, man. I need to hire someone to do it.
Honestly, that's worth looking into. Like the person I was with for 5.5 years, her name is on the socials, Hey Berna, and for a while she was trying to do it all. Like she had her own Slack community, she had her own Instagram and Facebook promotion and all the side deals with companies, and having to be the email liaison between all of those things, it was just impossible. And then she finally hired a manager and like a business coach, and that changed everything for her. And of course there's expenses with that, but it's like getting a bigger engine in a car. It's going to use up more gas, but you can go faster, and it becomes worth it. So I don't know, like if you're on the fence, at least like put feelers out there, and like the way that you're finding people through community as guests, like figure out who are good people in that like business space to use, because you don't want to find people off Google or something. You want people that you can trust, or like have people that can vouch for them. Otherwise, it feels less genuine. But just a thought.
It's been on my mind. I've been looking into like PR firms or whatever. Like I just need to I need to find some people I can leave that stuff to, because that is definitely does not bring me joy. But if it brings joy to you, then please help me out.
Dude, I'll connect you with someone.
I appreciate that, man. We could talk about it more off camera. But Pete, yes, thank you again, sir.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, no, and
let's not wait 5 years.
Let's not. Honestly, we'll be in touch, man. And this has been a great way to keep in touch with folks too. I know it's always hard, right? It's always like, when do I reach out? Why do I reach out? Like, it's cool to say hey, but are we really going to be able to talk and like, get to know where everybody's at? So thank you for the opportunity to catch up with you, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And I want to thank all the folks out there. If you're tuning in on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, appreciate your time as well. Thank you. Remember to reach out, reach forward. As always, much love. And we'll catch you guys next time on 34 Questions. See you on Friday. So, peace. And then it flows out that way. But yeah, man.
Oh man, this was awesome.
For sure. I hope you guys.